America's electricity grid was built more than half a century ago for a country that looked very different than what we know today. ITC recognizes the time to modernize has come. This fact is understood by many influential leaders in the public and private sectors. ITC is in the forefront of helping to lead discussions and to shape policies that will provide our country with renewable and reliable energy. Just last week, our CEO was at the National Energy Summit in Washington, D.C.
The topic now is transmission. The guest we have is well versed in these issues. Joe Welch is President, CEO, and Chairman of ITC Holdings. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the headache around transmission, primarily issues with the grid.
Well, since I've been in the business, there's been constant talk that we need to rebuild the grid. Starting in 2003, we actually started purchasing transmission systems from other utilities. Comprised in my office today is a compilation of around 10,000 photos that would tell you about the condition of the grid. And let me tell you this, that for all of the people who care, it's not in good shape. It truly is not in good shape. We have portions of our system that are over 60 years old. No one out here today would say that they've got something that's 60 years old that they use 7/24 every day. A lot of neglected maintenance, precipitated obviously by the blackout of 2003. We have a monumental amount of work to do just to rebuild the grid, and this is nationwide. I've gone to a lot of places. Everybody says not here, it's here.
One of the challenges ITC recognizes is that there are opposing viewpoints in the market.
I do get a little bit frustrated with suggestions that the grid is not functioning. I mean, the grid is 99.999% reliable.
Of course, we don't see it that way.
First of all, contrary to popular belief, the grid in the United States is not the best performing grid from a reliability standpoint or an efficiency standpoint. As a matter of fact, when we do independent benchmarking, to which we bring outside people in to actually audit us, we find that the European system, the systems in France, Korea, they all dwarf us. Japan, their systems,
all better than.
They're all better. I'll give you, for instance, you can go to EPRI's website. You can look up what the losses on our system are in the United States. When I started in this business, the unfortunate thing, I've been around it for a long time, all-in losses were running at about 5%. Today they're 9%. You say, well, that's only 4%. I think the 4% number equates to 175 billion kilowatt hours that are vented in the form of lost energy every day. That's because of our grid, nothing else. If I look at the Korean system, which we have gone and benchmarked ourselves against, their system is now operating from generator to load at 3.5%. We can't be in any kind of competitive market and waste that much energy.
As a leader in the industry, Joe Welch identifies obstacles that need to be overcome.
Now, we should mention also you're on a panel this afternoon. That's one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you today. It's called Clearing Obstacles to a National Transmission Superhighway and a Smart Grid. So tell us, what obstacles do you think actually need to be cleared?
Well, the first one, and it's the one that probably we'll never be able to legislate away, is just parochialism. There's 500 individual owners of the high voltage transmission grid. We're going to go through multiple states, but there's 48 contiguous states. Every state has a regulatory environment. They affect all of the politicians. So at the top of the list, we've got to get everyone on the same page that we need to go become an energy independent country and move in that direction, and move in that direction for the good of the country. Secondly, once we could get them all together, then what we would need to have is the development of an independent planning authority, and people have testified to this, and we simply just don't have it in the United States.
What's the likelihood that kind of authority would be created?
I hope it's high. We certainly have made the problems known of what we have today. Without undue influence from market participants and a non-voluntary system, we're not going to get to where we need to be. Of course, then the second thing that comes after this is who's going to pay for it? How are we going to pay for all this? The cost allocation. And we built an interstate highway system in the United States where we finally came to the conclusion that everyone was going to pay a federal gas tax on every gallon of gasoline they put in a car, truck, boat, or whatever to pay for that highway system. We believe a uniform kilowatt-hour surcharge for all kilowatt-hours consumed in the United States should be assessed to pay for all of the renewable energy resources and also for all of the transmission it takes to support them.
Right.
And then the last on my wish list is federal backstop siting authority. We could get the costs right, we can get the planning right, but if we can't site it and build it, we're nowhere.
Joseph Welch, the CEO of ITC Holdings, joining us from Washington. Mr. Welch, thanks.
As you can see, there is considerable debate at the state and federal levels about what should be done to improve the grid. Modernizing the grid won't happen quickly or on a scale needed to meet national energy and environmental goals without overhaul of the federal regulations that govern transmission planning, cost allocation, and siting. ITC will continue to be an energy transmission leader today and in the future.